People who stuck with their partners during hard times, where are you now? We're having a baby and are very content and functional. Deeply in love and true partners in everything. We went through a stage where we would get in screaming fights every week for a couple months. One of us storming out. We found our way back, but we had to decide to not let it get that way anymore. We had the talk and realized neither of us was going anywhere, so there was just no point in hurting each other. Very proud of us. It's good to hear you two figured it out. It's normal for couples to hit rough patches. The important part is recognizing the problem and working on it together. Sounds like you've both made a commitment to each other. That kind of growth can only strengthen your relationship. Congrats on the new chapter ahead. She cheated. I supported her through the death of her father and many other difficult things, but all lead to me getting my heart broken. I'm glad I did support her, and I'm also relieved that she's out of my life. I'm more relieved than I'm alone, and I can pour more energy into looking out for myself, because that's something I neglected for many years, because someone else always came first. Life is blissful now. It sounds like you went through a tough time. Supporting someone you care about can be draining, especially when they don't appreciate it. It's good to hear you're focusing on yourself now. Prioritizing yourself is important, and it seems like you're in a better place. Sometimes, a breakup can lead to personal growth. Here's to enjoying that peace and figuring things out on your own terms. Pass them. Went from selling anything of value to live to owning a home with a little land, and in our 17 years of being together we are still not only husband and wife, but best friends who have grown together closer than we ever thought possible. That's cool. It's nice to hear about people who start from nothing and manage to build a life together. Being married and best friends sounds pretty rare. It must be comforting to grow and share those experiences over the years. 35M. I'm the cause of the hard time, not the one that stuck it out. I was addicted to opiates for a few years. Lied to my wife every day. Spent all of our money. Was just a jerk. I finally admitted to my problem, which I think was big for our relationship. I'm not sure we'd be where we are if she had busted me, rather than me owning up to it. Times were rough and she had every right to leave me. She didn't. This all happened like 7 years ago. We've been together for 13 years altogether. We have 2 beautiful, amazing kids, and our relationship is stronger and better than it's ever been. We never fight, and I honestly love her more every day. Some things are worth fighting for. I'm glad she thought that. It's good to see someone own up to their mistakes. Acknowledging a problem takes courage, and it seems like that honesty changed everything for you both. It's not easy for a partner to stick around when times get tough. The fact that you two made it through and built a stronger relationship is a real testament to love and commitment. It's nice to hear how things turned out well in the end. I feel so lost without them. We went through so much together, and now it just feels empty. I keep trying to remind myself of the good times, but it hurts knowing they're not here anymore. It's like a part of me is missing, and I just don't know what to do. It's tough to feel that absence. I remember losing a close friend, and it changed everything for a while. You try to fill that void, but nothing feels quite right. It takes time to adjust, to remember them fondly without the pain. I found solace in recalling the moments we shared, but the reality still hits hard. It's a strange journey, really, but holding on to those memories can help a bit. I did for my wife. Hung through 3 years of heavy alcoholism after her mother died prematurely. Not a single person could get through to her during that time, but I hung around and made sure she was at least safe. I essentially handled everything for us for 3 straight years. She is 1+YR sober now and a completely different person. She's back. That's a rough situation. It's tough to watch someone you care about struggle, but being there for her made a difference. It's good to hear she's sober and doing better now. It sounds like your support was crucial during that time. The journey wasn't easy, but it paid off in the end. Basically, he ghosted me after a 9-year relationship after much sacrifice on my end. So that was nice. Suspected there was another party involved, but never got proof. I'm much more fulfilled and happy now with someone more compatible with me. Heard he's still on the apps. I'm convinced it's having ungrateful partners like these that makes men and women lose faith in dating. It's not a gender issue, but a character issue. Find someone who is appreciative of you. It's tough to deal with someone just disappearing like that after so long. It's good to hear you found someone who actually values you, though. It really makes a difference when you're with someone who matches your vibes. It's true that it often comes down to the person's character rather than any broader issue. Hope you keep finding what works for you. She divorced me the moment things got better. We both went back to school, and after we finished, within a year, our income doubled. Hers was a little higher than mine. About a year later is when I started suspecting she was running around. A year after that we divorced. Now, it's 3 years post-divorce, she can't keep a job other than fast food, and I got several raises and promotions. So, I guess it worked out for me in the end. That's a rough spot you went through. It's interesting how things turned out, though. You focused on your career, and it paid off. Meanwhile, it seems like she struggled after the split. Guess it's true that sometimes when one door closes, another opens. It's good you found your footing. Stuck it out with my first wife as she was battling cancer. She cheated on me years before, but I only found out while she was sick. I didn't leave as we had 2 kids together. When she passed away from her cancer, it felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. I have since found an amazing partner in life and have enjoyed life to the fullest. I can see the complexity in that situation. Sticking it out through tough times, especially for the kids, shows commitment. It's tough to process those feelings after everything happened. Finding a new partner and moving on is a positive step. It seems like you've been able to find happiness again, which is really important. Life can change a lot, and it's good to find that balance. During our hard time, I asked her, are we fighting to stay together or to pull apart? Stopped her in her tracks. She wanted in. I wanted in. 3 years later we're closer than ever and deeper in love. It takes 2 to make commitment work. It's nice to hear how you both figured it out. Those tough moments can either pull people apart or bring them closer together. Sounds like you both chose to really invest in each other. It's all about that mutual effort. Glad to see you're in a better spot now. Supported him after he voluntarily quit his job and wanting to do something different. Supported him through school for a few years, carrying all financial burdens. He left and told me I was too much. Wanted to come back 2 months later. I made sure that door was sealed shut. I'm now happily enjoying my single life, though sometimes I do wonder if I'll ever meet someone that can make me feel safe again in a relationship. It's tough when you invest so much in someone only to have them walk away. You gave your all, and it didn't work out. It's understandable to feel a mix of emotions, especially when thinking about future relationships. But enjoying your single life is a good step. It'll help you figure out what you truly want next time. Just take your time, the right person will come along when you least expect it. I stuck with him for 17 years and lost my house, my dogs, my credit rating was absolutely shot, and I discovered that he had lied about filing our taxes for 3 years. Had to pay back $10,000 to state and $10,000 to Fed. Once I got away, a dear friend let me stay with her for a month. Then I got a solid roommate. Was able to get my feet under me, pay my back taxes, and repair my credit rating. Ended up marrying said roommate. We've been together for 7 years and I've never been so happy. It's tough to go through something like that. Losing so much and dealing with the fallout can be real heavy. But it sounds like you found a way to bounce back. A supportive friend can make a big difference, and marrying someone who shares your life now is nice. Life has a way of turning around when you least expect it. Glad to hear you're in a better place now. She broke up with me after putting me $2,000 in credit card debt. She's now living across the street with a drug addict young enough to be her son. I'm not saying I'll never date or trust again, but she certainly taught me a valuable lesson about whom I let into my life. It's tough when you get blindsided like that. Losing money and trust in someone can really make you rethink your choices. It's good that you're trying to learn from it though. People can surprise you, but it's important to stay cautious moving forward. Just takes time to heal and figure out what you really want in a relationship. I think we're both in a period of monumental acceptance while still navigating past hurts, and I believe the hard times will be with us indefinitely. The key is that we're both willing to grow together and be there for each other as a source of strength. I'm not facing this alone, and neither is he. It's a pretty real moment when you and a friend are just there for each other, dealing with everything life throws your way. It's not always easy, but knowing you can lean on someone makes a difference. Growth isn't always smooth, but the journey feels a bit lighter when you share it. Just taking it day by day, and that's okay. Doing pretty well. 9 years together so far and counting. Year 4 or 5 was pretty rocky, due to her getting hooked on hard liquor and abusing the hell out of it. I'd come home almost every day from work with her nearly blacked out. Frustrating to say the least. We took a 3-month break from the relationship, and she realized I was right and that she should quit that poison if she wants a happy life together. No relapses since. It's good to hear things have turned around. Relationships get tough sometimes, and it's not easy to deal with issues like addiction. Taking that break sounds like it helped both of you. It takes a lot of strength to recognize problems and work through them. Glad she's been on a better path since then. It's good to see people make changes for the better. Thrown out on my ass for severe depression. Stood by her invisible illnesses for nearly 20 years. Of course, I was faking the whole time. Just ask her. Hakuna Matata. She was always the worst person I'd ever known. She was absolutely fascinating, I just thought I was her person, so I was cool with it. Now I'm putting my pieces back together. I've got 2 kids who are better than they have any right to be from the shitstorm that grew up in. I've got my mom out of her tent. She's still got her drugs, but she's sheltered now. I've got my car, she's a zippy little 2023. I've got a place to live and am working on building a new career. I've got some TTRPG groups I'm in. I've got my little cat friend Shadow and a full belly. I'm alright. Stay amazing. I love YA always and forever, my friend. Thanks for asking. 2 cents. It sounds like you've been through a lot. It's tough dealing with those kinds of relationships and challenges, but it's good to hear you're finding your way. It seems like you've made progress, getting your life on track and focusing on your kids and your future. It's important to build a support system, and having hobbies like TTRPGs and a pet can really help. Glad you're doing all right. We broke up. The moment he didn't need me financially anymore, it's like my needs within our relationship didn't even matter to him. Everything was always about him. I still miss him, A lot. He was the love of my life, and TBH, I don't think I'll ever have a connection with anyone else in the future like I did him. Despite that, I know I'm better off in the long run, but it's been really hard. Breakups can be tough, especially when you realize the other person wasn't as invested. It's hard to let go of someone who felt so significant. You think about the good times, but also recognize the unhealthy patterns that made you feel lesser. Moving on is a process, and it's normal to miss that connection. Just know that with time, things might get easier, and you'll find your way to a healthier relationship. My husband became friends with someone who truly derailed our lives for a time and led to one of the darkest periods of my life. I considered leaving him many times, but clung to the hope that the man I married was in there somewhere and felt probably just as trapped by our reality as I had. I won't go into details, but the person in question was a raging narcissist and master manipulator, and I'm still not sure what his end goal was other than to wreak havoc on our lives for fun. Long story short, we had a chance to escape, and we did. It wasn't easy, but thanks to strong family support we now have a very good marriage, we have a lovely detached home in a beautiful and safe neighborhood, and our kids are thriving and can play with their neighborhood friends all day long if they want to. My husband has some PTSD from that time, and I think maybe I have a bit also, but with each year that passes we both heal a little more. I'm really glad I stuck around because even though I'd hoped things would get better, I never expected them to get this much better. I have much to be grateful for. It's good to hear you've come out stronger on the other side. It's tough watching someone you care about get wrapped up in a bad situation. You really do wonder if the person you married will come back. Luckily, it sounds like you both found your way back to each other and rebuilt a solid life together. Family support makes a difference. Healing takes time, but it seems like you're in a much better place now. Met my now husband 3 months before he went on a 10-month deployment halfway across the world. It was super hard and took a lot of work. Totally worth it, though. I'm now holding our 6-week-old son while he goes and picks up big sister from school. That's a big transition in such a short time. Starting a relationship and then facing a long deployment must have been tough. It's nice to hear it worked out well for you both. Now you've got a little family together, which is great. Balancing everything with a new baby and a big sister must keep you busy. Sounds like things are settling into a nice routine. Please consider subscribing if you enjoyed. Love.